Hey there, welcome to Pop Culture Cupid.
I'm Alison, love coach, here to help you single people find your way back to love.
And I'm Michal, I'm a single life coach. I help singles embrace themselves and their singleness, as well as develop a healthy self relationship.
In this podcast, we will look at how pop culture impacts romance, dating, and your love life.
And each week we'll shoot another arrow through another pop culture delusion.
I thought we weren't going to do the whole cheesy thing.
And then burst into smithereens.
Oh my god, dude, that's so cringe!
Sorry, it's in the intro now.
If you make it through the chaos and you enjoy what you hear, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and go to all the social media.
At Pop Culture Cupid on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Enjoy! Should we go?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And how about you?
I'm good. Happy it's the weekend.
It is, although it's so scary how fast time is flying. Every single week seems to be going by faster than the previous one.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's just the year that goes by faster or if we are getting older and just time feels different.
I think so. I think we're just more, when you're more aware of something, it's like it just flashes
Yeah,
by.
yeah,
But
exactly. We were talking about like living in the moment and being aware of how amazing the current moment is. It's not that easy.
it's not what? Sorry?
It's not that easy living in the moment.
It is not. It's very hard to live in the moment, especially with so much going on and all the screens and technology and social medias where you're always super hyper aware of like what everyone else is doing and where everyone else is going and how successful and beautiful and cool everyone else is, and you're sort of too focused on not only trying to live up to that but also share it, and you're sort of lost in sharing stuff on Instagram or behind a lens rather than with your eyes and senses. So sorry, philosophical much.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem is, I mean, not the problem, but the interesting thing about what we do is that we become very aware, and we're just like it's not as easy just living through life not caring. Like we become aware of like the flaws and our own flaws and how we perceive things, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
everything is an opportunity for self-growth and being introspective, and it's hard.
It is. And while I do believe that you should constantly be reflecting on yourself and your journey and things you're going through, sometimes you also need to learn how to just let go and how to do things just because you
Yeah.
want to, and without analyzing every tiny small thing that happens. And I think that's also true in life with yourself, and most importantly in relationships, because I feel like a lot of times when you super over analyze things that go on in relationships or stupid petty arguments, then that just causes more arguments and more chaos, and it never ends.
Yeah, it's never ending. um Anything special happening for you in your personal life?
um in my personal life everything's pretty good, pretty normal, but in my professional life I have actually just completed writing an ebook, so that's really
Oh,
exciting.
amazing. Oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
In English?
In English, yes. And
Cool.
it's about creating connections to overcome loneliness.
Oh, amazing. I'd love to read it. You
Yeah.
you must send
I'll
it
send it
over.
out to you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I will.
yeah, that's cool. That's really good. Well done. Well done.
Thank you. I'm super excited about that. So I feel like very proud of myself for that achievement. So
Yeah,
how about
that's good.
you?
A professional. I it's if this is going to sound really dishonest, but it is very honest. Some of my clients have been doing so well and like progressing so much, and that feels really good about being in
Oh,
touch with their
sure.
emotions. It feels amazing, so I'm
Mhm.
really happy about that. And personal life, it's nothing's been going on too much, but that's fine because I tend to live a hectic life, and I enjoy it when it calms down. So it's calm right now. It's calm.
You, yeah. You know what? If there's one thing that single life taught me, is this thrive on the peace and tranquility and the air quotes boring life where it's just everything's calm and relaxed and you're not thriving on drama like you used to in your teens and in your 20s, and everything's just everything's so much lighter and better, and you're more efficient that way, and you have so much more time and energy to focus on better things. So
Yeah,
I love it. I think it's something like no matter how chaotic life is, you should always strive to do things calmly and
I
stress
agree.
free as much as you can, because everything is easier said than done. So
Amen. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Love is
what about
Blind. Not Love is Blind.
that's next week.
That's next week. Tinder Swindler.
The Tinder Swindler. Yeah. Well, let me read the premise for you, for
Yeah.
those of you who have no idea what it is. And if you don't know what it is, I suggest you go to Netflix, watch it, then come back and discuss it with us. So, posing as the wealthy, jet-setting son of Russian-Israeli diamond mogul Lev Levayev, Simon Chayut wooed women online under the alias of Simon Levayev, then conned them out of millions of dollars. Now, some of the victims plan for payback. Ooh, very dramatic.
Dun dun dun. It's what we like. It's the
If only it weren't true, because it's just sad. It's so sad, this story. But I'd like to begin as the Israeli in the group here. Well, sort of Israeli, but to, to to preface this by saying that not all is well, most of Israeli men are not like that. I don't think that's a good representative of the Israeli culture at all. So just getting that out there.
yeah, and you're right to do so. But I mean, as a non-Israeli, I would say that that was made really clear. Like, I wouldn't worry about the reputation of your men.
Yeah, well,
Because, and also at the end they do say like that the women go on these interviews with Israeli men, you know, on the Israeli TV,
yeah,
and they say we're not all like that. So I mean, I wouldn't worry about that. But you're right to say it. I think it's just, you know, it just so happens that this is an Israeli man. It's not
yeah.
you know, it could have been a French guy, German guy, English guy, American guy, whatever. It just so happens that he was Israeli.
Yeah, and they have them all over the place. I think I was also reading up a bit about the story, and one of the reasons why they haven't stopped him here or anywhere else is because the police are so overwhelmed with other more serious cases that it's just not possible. So,
Yeah, but isn't that just a bit of an excuse of saying, of, you know, oh, it was too overwhelmed? Like, guys, like, this is horrible what's going on. You know, we'll talk about how, you know, how to avoid and things like that, and just, but this guy took advantage of women and people. Like, this is women that came up, but how do we know that he hasn't been taking advantage of men and selling them, you know, fake products? And now he's even selling like business tips online. He's not even linked to the Leviathan family. So it's just,
yeah, the Israeli Andrew Tate, basically. Yeah, and that's what's crazy to me, by the way. Speaking of the Leviathan family, because they did speak about this a few times on the film, that they were saying they looked up the Leviathan family, they read about who they are and their wealth, but and this is an important lesson to learn, I think, from it. And the most important takeaway is look up the person you're trying to date, because if you look up Lev Levayev's sons, all their names are online, and Lev Levayev does not have a son named Simon. And so I'm thinking, like, don't only look at what they show, what they choose to portray on Instagram or Facebook, because we all know that's not 100% real. And like, do a bit more digging, especially in these day and age, in this day and age, where we know that so sadly so much conning and hacking and things like these are going on. Like, I get messages every week on my phone you need to pay tax on this, then it's a fake message from someone trying to con money out of me. So
yeah, I agree. And I didn't tell you this because I knew we were having this podcast, but I dated. I went on like 2 dates with who was claiming to be the son of this huge like tech personality in France. And I was like, this doesn't sit right with me. And I looked him up online and he's nowhere to be found. And I was like, well, so he wasn't asking for money, but really early on I was like, I felt that this guy was just trying to pretend to be somebody he wasn't, just to seem interesting. That's, I felt that that's what he was doing. But thinking about it now, I'm like, maybe it could have led to some sort of con situation, and now it feels uncomfortable. But this was something like 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, just be careful. If people are pretending to, if people are saying that they have these, big communities and big lifestyles, it's so easy to check. And then again, if you're talking to somebody who says, I'm really private and I'm not online, I'm a secret agent or whatever, then that's also a bit of a red flag. Of everybody has a tiny trace online. And if this person is saying that he's working for the Secret Service, it's probably a lie, because I'm pretty sure that they prevent you from saying it.
Yeah, that's true. You're not allowed to say any of that for any Secret Service from any country. And you know what? In general, when someone has so many secrets, or in his case, he has so many enemies and he has so many like crazy things going on, run the other way. Why in the world would you want to get involved with someone like that to begin with? Like, I would think to myself, oh my God, I do not want his enemies to come to me. This sounds too much like an action movie that I want no part in, because I'm sorry, but if someone has secrets, eventually you're going to get sucked into them. Eventually they're going to consume you, and eventually they'll be an inseparable part of you and your secrets as well. So yeah, especially if they're claiming to be such a famous person's son or relative, all you have to do is look up their name. And I'm sorry if it sounds a bit stalkery, but what are you going to do? This is the world we live in at the moment, and we have to be careful. We have to be cautious who we go out with, especially when, they come in with full force and this huge gust of wind trying to sort of like sweep us off our feet. And if there's one thing I've learned, especially in my finally new healthy relationship, is that never leads to real love. In fact, if they try to sweep you off your feet like they do in Hollywood movies right in the beginning, again, run the other way, because real healthy love is chillaxed. It starts slow, it's mellow. There's no fireworks or big explosions of loves and butterflies. That's just in movies. It comes slowly.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for saying it, because I can't remember the names of the 2 main women, but the first one that comes on screen, kind of, the Norwegian one. Pardon?
Cecilia or something like that? Could it be?
Cecile, maybe. Anyway,
yeah.
You can tell that she lives for the whole romantic, wants to meet Prince Charming, and Simon Leviath kind of knew that. I think he targets the women who haven't detached themselves from the online, like the fantasy, the fairy tale fantasy, and he targets them because that's what he's feeding into. And because she got so overwhelmed with this and is only waiting for this, she's only waiting for this, and the other woman was also waiting for this, they just couldn't think clearly. And they seem to be intelligent women, both of them, and the current girlfriend, like the one living in Amsterdam. They all seemed to be really, really intelligent, educated women. And their fatal flaw was that they believe so much in the fairy tale romantic fantasy that just completely blocks them from seeing reality.